Hello? Hello? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I love Scotch. I love Scotch. That's going to be in the outtakes. Hi there. My name's Rocco, and today I'm going to make gnocchis. The way my grandmother made them, the way my mom made them, we actually make them with ricotta cheese instead of potatoes. I'll be honest with you, my wife and I made them with potatoes one time. We really couldn't tell a lot of difference. Except the gnocchis with ricotta, they're lighter. What's funny here is just me making these for you today. It's not the way we usually do it. I usually do it with my at least 10 or 15 people in my family helping out because I can't just make, I'm going to make one batch today, but I can't just make one batch because, we literally make thousands of them. When the whole family's here, we have a lot of fun making them. One batch makes between 175 and 200 gnocchis, and that depends on how small you cut them. I usually cut them an inch, inch and a quarter, so that's going to make pretty close to 175 gnocchis. All right, so let's start with 2 cups of flour, and you don't have to get crazy. You don't have to, get a scraper and scrape it to make it exact. This is the way, the Italians, we didn't do a lot of stuff really exact. We just made them, and when we're rolling them out, if they're too gooey, we add some flour. All right, and then we're going to add 1 egg. And like I said before, this is for one batch. 2 cups of ricotta cheese. And like I say with the flour, it doesn't have to be exact. When we start rolling it out, we'll know at that point whether we need to add some flour or not. And then once you do these a couple times, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if they're too gooey, too soggy, they don't cut nice. And if they're too dry, they don't stay together very good. All right. So now that's 2 cups of ricotta. That's the way the Italians say it, ricotta. You could say ricotta, but then I'd have to punch you.
You trying to say capiche? Yeah. Well, don't do it because it hurts my ears when you do
it. Okay, now we need a little bit of salt. Not much. 1 teaspoon. All right. I put the egg in. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all the ingredients. So now we'll mix her up. Put her on slow to get it going. Now, you can also make this in a food processor. I've done that many, many times. Basically the same thing. To use a food processor, what I like to do is put all the dry ingredients in, mix that up first, let them get all mixed up, and then get the egg and drizzle the egg in as you have the machine on. So, and then now we can make this up a little more. And when this is ready, we're going to need to dump it out and play with it. So I'm going to put some flour down on the table. There's no set time. Just keep an eye on it. It's going to ball up a little bit, and that's actually what you want it to do. That's it. Dump it out. Move this off to the side. Now, what I do sometimes if we're making several batches at one time, we'll make them, and then we'll cover them. And what covering does, it keeps them from drying out. But like I say, this is perfect. So we'll cut it up, move it off to the side, get a little bit of flour. Now, what I've noticed is if you put too much flour down, then you're not going to be able to roll them. This is the easy way to do it. So you'll get a handle on how much flour you need to put down so that you don't, what happens if you put too much flour and you try to roll them, they're going to slide. It's going to slide. It's no big deal. You can just do this. You know what I mean? Like I say, this is not rocket science. And you'll see kind of how I like what size I want to make them. And one thing I didn't say, but you're not going to, I guess you can already see how easy these are to make. Once you see how easy they are, you're going to say, why haven't I ever made gnocchis before? Just like raviolis, and I'm probably going to have a video. We make a lot of raviolis. We make homemade pasta. All right, so then not rocket science. Now, my mother would always roll them first. Next step would be to roll them. You don't really need to roll them. My mother used to, and like my grandmother, they had a way of just getting their thumbs and pressing them, and I'm not good at it. So we cheat. We use a fork. So you can roll them all out. And you don't even need to roll them. I mean, honestly, it's just one more step. Get it like this. Put a little design in it. You're going to need to put flour in the pan. Because what we're going to do is, once we put these in the pan, we're going to freeze them. Put them in the freezer 15, 20 minutes. You put them in the freezer until you pick them up and they're kind of hard so that they don't stick together when you put them in the bag. See how hard this is? As you see, I'm not really even rolling them anymore. There's no need to roll them. There's just in fact, I always rolled them, but the last time my family, we made, I'm not kidding you, we made several thousand of them. One of my grandkids said, Pap, do we really have to roll these things? And I said, I don't know. Run the fork on it and see. And he did it. What you're doing is you're making a channel for the sauce. So the sauce will stick on it whenever you cook them. So you guys think you could do this? You think it's that difficult to make? All right, so this is it. And we're going to just keep doing these. And I wish so bad that I could do what my mom used to do. Because she'd sit there and she would flick them out like, I mean, it was unbelievable how fast she did them. And I just never was able to do it. I remember my wife, Terry, would help make Italian foods with my mom sometimes. And when we were doing these, Terry was trying to no success. So in fact, she was even having trouble doing this. So my mother wouldn't let her do anything. She said, you're done. Get out of here. You're not doing anything. So you can see that there's no right or wrong here. You're just trying to make a place for the sauce to lay. And I think if you go to the store and buy them, they look just like this. This is exactly what they look like. I understand there's a what they call a gnocchi board. And what it is, it's a little wooden board with slots in it. My grandson told me about it. He said, Pap, we made gnocchis at school, and we used this little board. And I said, well, what did that do? He said, we didn't have to use the fork. We just laid the gnocchi down and rolled it, and it put that little slot in it. So I said, oh, I'm getting one of those. But you can see, just to make them like this, goes pretty quick. You see, that didn't take very long. Now to my last 4 gnocchis. So what we're going to do is we're going to freeze some of these, and I'm going to cook some. All right. we got the water boiling. We're going to cook some gnocchis. Now, these gnocchis that we're cooking now, you know, they're a little gummier. So what you want to do is you want to make sure your water's boiling big time. And you want to put them in so they don't stick together. And then, whether they're fresh or they're frozen, you want to, once they boil, then they're just about ready to eat. Maybe wait 30 seconds, not even a minute after they float. I'm sorry, not when they boil. But they'll have to come back and boil again now that I put these cold gnocchis in here. They're boiling, they're floating. We'll give them about another 30 seconds or so. Dump them in a colander. All right, manja manja.